You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table, the podcast where no subject is too taboo to discuss. Now, please welcome your hosts, Andy Barker and Lou Del Pree. It's Friday. It's my favorite day of the week for many, many reasons.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I have to apologize. I looked a little distracted as we came in because I forgot to silence my diabetes alarm. And for anybody who doesn't know, when it goes off on the board in our ear.
Yeah.
not yours, but oh man, is that
Very
thing
loud.
Well, it's a good. I mean, I guess it's good that it's loud like that.
Well, for deaf bastards like us, absolutely. You know, that whole diabetes monitor alarm thing, I really think I've already told you. I have not told the audience. I do not believe. Most of them know that most people know I have a service dog, Alma, and I've recently applied for a new service dog because she's going to be 13 in April.
Yeah.
She deserves. Well, she needs to retire. But anyway, my whole thought is once I get that dog, I've met some folks that train dogs on scent. So I want to train the dog to alert when I have either hypo or hyperglycemia. So I think that'd be better than that loud electric IED sounding alarm, roadside bomb alarm that
Right.
you have. Yeah. Anyway,
They have a ring. I saw a ring. I was out. I used to be a gadget guy. And I saw the Samsung ring checks blood sugar. And so I was telling,
What up, Shrek?
the missus, I might try that out. I might see if that thing works since I do have the sensor. Try the ring, see if they marry up.
That's
I don't
interesting.
know.
Why not?
Yeah, I'll be able to test it in real time.
What's the worst that can happen? You either die or you're out money. Wait, okay, never mind. Maybe we should rethink this whole idea here.
Right? But I think I should end up having if I try it, well, the phone would still be there. It'd still be telling me because that's how I'd be comparing it.
Oh, well. Yeah, I guess so.
My doctor always asks me like, why do you have the spikes? And I'm like, because I don't want to say it out loud, but I'm like, but in my head, I'm like, because I use the alarms. I don't check. I just wait for low or high.
Yeah, I've told my doctors, well, look, I'm not a very compliant patient. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't do well with lecturing, so don't even start. I know I'm educated. I understand the ramifications fully. Just fuck it.
Yeah.
That shit gets old sticking yourself every, all day, every day.
It does. Andy, last time we started and got real deep before we got our wrap.
Speaking of,
are we?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the wrap up with Lou.
That's right. Well, we'll get this out of the way. Maybe we'll spur a little topic. We don't have any guests tonight, but welcome to the wrap. I paid for it, so you don't have to. I'll tell you what I listened to that caught my ear. All right, so 9 December 2024, we had the Steve Day Show, hour 2. He talked about what it takes to unseat a senator, talking about Jody Ernst, right? Jody Ernst has been was standing against Pete Hegseth, as we remember, until more recently she softened that and said, she'd be looking forward to the process playing through, but she had softened her position as far as it stood with him, right? Well, that came from a prompt, right? She received a lot of outside pressure, but before she did that, Steve Dace was talking on hour 2, because he's from Iowa and that's where she is, the sitting senator. He was talking about who has name ID to unseat her, who could primary against her, and how do you do that when you have a senator, an incumbent senator, when everything's rigged for them with money and pay like that. Plus also he talked about how the Iowa Democrat Party is basically dead in Iowa, and do you revitalize them if you primary her and lose, right? Let's say you get there to the general and you lose in the general, and you've just basically resurrected what would be a dead party in Iowa, right? So is it really worth primarying her or not? So unbeknownst to us, hour 1 of the next day, after she had reversed her position. He talked about how he did 2 interviews and threw his name in the ring to primary her. And there's only, and he did talk about the 3 people who had name ID, and he did mention himself, that he was one of the people who could do it. And he did 3 interviews with 3 major media outlets, and she changed her tune. And he talked about how he has more interviews scheduled and he has some backing, and he may stay as a primary threat to her, because the whole point is, and if you go back and listen, right, hour
What's
2
up,
and then
Joe?
into hour 1 the next day, if you have limited time, the whole point being is, there's a mandate and people are sick of this, and you're not just going to give us Pete Hegseth and then go screw us on the next 10 Republican votes.
That's right.
Right. She's the one who confirmed Lloyd Austin. She's the one who's all about, trans in the military and stuff. So he said, no, I'm going to keep the pressure on. I'm going to keep the threat live. She's not going to be able to go back and rest on her heels and screw us on the next 10 votes. So that was an interesting conversation. If you have time, go ahead and listen to that. If you didn't, that's what it was. With a little more details. All right, Human Defense Wednesday with Jack Posobiec. He had a takedown of Christopher Wray and all his mishandlings in the FBI. It was interesting. They went through a lot of that. He resigned, and I like how he gave him a parting shot. Preserve your documents, Christopher Wray.
Yeah.
This is my favorite parting shot. If you're over there listening to, that's Steve Bannon says that all the time, right? That's where these guys get that,
Mhm.
But every time they say it, it's awesome, right? And now the last thing we had, were we able to do this or not? Were we able to
No,
do,
I
we
couldn't
were
get it.
okay. That's no problem. Hey, so what you guys have to know is Andy, if you didn't know this, background baseball, Andy, not only is Andy the star, but he produces. I have no idea how to do any of this. None of this. And I spring on him last minute crap all the time. So I was like, hey, Andy, it'd be really cool if people heard this for themselves. And he was like, yeah, that would have been cool to know 3 days ago.
Yeah, we tried. I failed miserably. I just didn't have enough time before showtime to get it up. That's all.
It's the good idea fairy, right? It just
Right.
sits up here because I don't know how to do, I don't know what goes into it. It'd be really cool if you work 9 hours ahead of time and like, because I don't know. I'm just like, hey, why don't you do this?
It'd be really cool. Just take out your pecker and smash it in a rack pan on a ship. Why don't you do that? That would be really cool.
Right?
That's about the equivalent of what Lou does to me every show.
It's terrible.
Just
It's
about.
terrible. Because I don't. The truth is, I don't really know. I have to get better at that. But anyway, last thing I had was Barry Weiss. Right? Okay, you guys don't remember her? She breaks a lot of good stories. Right down the middle, reporter, good to go. She has a podcast called Honestly, and she talked to Mike Andreessen a couple days ago on why he endorsed Trump. And it's right about the 43-minute mark. You have to hear it yourself. You just have to. Right around the 43-minute mark. Andy heard it. He'll testify after. But Mark says something that should be front page everywhere, right? He says they went to the Biden administration. They had a big meeting. He said, Biden's this elder statesman, decades of experience, but he's got a young radical staff doing wild and crazy things. He said 3 things forced him to endorse Trump. One was the unrealized capital gains tax. He says that was serious. Even though they sit there and say in the media that wasn't, we had a meeting, that was serious. He said that would have destroyed small business everywhere. He said the second thing when they were meeting with the Biden admin was AI. And then he said the third thing was cryptocurrency. He said cryptocurrency, they hate it and they tried to destroy it. And his business was on the receiving end of that, and it was miserable. He said, so that right there was a strike. He said, but what AI, when he walked out after they talked about AI, he was horrified. And he knew he had to endorse Trump. And what he said about AI was, they told him basically, and everyone in this room, don't even invest in AI startups. Don't even sniff in that direction. We're not going to allow it to happen. There's only going to be 2 or 3 companies we allow to have AI. They're going to be tightly controlled by us. They're going to do what we tell them. We're going to protect them. No competition. Don't even do it. We're not going to allow it. He said, he spoke up and said, well, the math, I don't know how you're going to do that. The math is being taught in universities all over. How are you going to do that? He said they looked at him and said, during the Cold War, we classified entire tracks of physics and took them out of the research community. They just went dark. He said, if we decide that that's what needs to be done for AI, we'll remove the base math. And he said, holy crap, I just learned 2 things. You people don't belong having any power, and they just classified entire tracks of physics that nobody's allowed to look at.
That's so scary. I mean, it's to everybody that's out there saying to all these conspiracy quote unquote nuts. maybe they're not so crazy, huh?
Isn't that insane? And you heard it. You heard it yourself. So, like I said, if you head over to Barry Weiss, honestly, her interview with Mark Andreessen, it's about 3 or 4 days ago. You can hear it. You can hear it from him. He'll tell you what was said in the meeting. Paraphrasing some of it, of course. But yeah, not gonna allow AI, and that's a wrap, folks. So if you have time or limited time, that's where you should spend it.
There you have it. Wow, that's some scary shit.
It's nuts, man. But you know what I thought was interesting? How he said, because Barry said, it's interesting, that Joe Biden would be this way. Like the history didn't indicate, or whatever.
For
And he
those
was
that
just like, well, you have an elder statesman and this radical young staff.
don't know, Barry is a female,
Yes.
so you could be get the image out of your head, because before I could totally see how you would think Barry it'd be a dude's name.
Yep.
Are you here? Are you hearing something, or is it just me?
I do hear something.
That's wild. I don't know what that is.
Hold on. See if you hear it anymore.
Nope.
Then it's me.
Oh, what is that? That's so weird.
Is it gone now?
Yeah.
That
Hey,
was
what's up, man? What's
That was my
happening?
fan. That was my
Oh, was
fan,
it?
Andy, in our professional setup when I said, hey, don't go live yet. I have to turn my fan on.
Okay. I didn't hear it then.
I know.
It's so weird.
I can't, this
Look,
is the most amazing thing. I don't know.
look at
One of
big
these days, I have to like get a permanent situation going on off camera.
one of these years. See
Yeah.
big Shane in the house.
Nice. What's up?
Nice to have you. Miss you too, brother. Man.
That's
But
right.
that's
Navy Army games this weekend, right?
it is. And I got a nice text from Joe, a nice selfie from him and his family in what looks like a very to me at least anxiety producing atmosphere with tons and tons of people all over the place that
Oh,
I'd
man.
probably
Well,
lose
I'll
my
tell you,
shit
Army
over.
football is pretty good. And
Yeah, but they're at Disney World, Disneyland,
I don't know about
Disney
yeah.
World.
Disney's
What
Disney's fun.
one of them damn communist freaking Disney places.
It's expensive, man. It's
Oh man,
ridiculous.
is it? Jesus. We were
Walt
so
would turn in his grave.
I I have to tell on myself. We went last year this time. We went down to see Greg and Melanie. And afterwards we went over to, Universal, and we were either going to go Disney or Universal. We went to Universal and we just got a picture of the whole family right by the globe, the big globe. And then we left. We are like, I'm not paying to go in that damn place, man. I was so man, I had Alma with me and she was helping, but fuck, I was spun up that day. It was not a good day. There were just too many people, man.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot. Yeah, Disney's different. I remember being there in the '80s, and then I think 2000s, and then Tokyo. Did you been to Tokyo Disney?
I have.
Now, have you been to Disney Sea?
I have.
Because there's no Sea World.
Right.
So Disney Sea is unique to Tokyo Disney, and I'll tell you what else is unique to Tokyo Disney. I didn't know this, but it's sponsored. It leases the Disney name. It's not a
Really?
true Disney park.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why like the selection is a little like I don't know if you noticed, but it's
Limited.
different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is different. I just thought it was the Japanese touch.
No, it's a leased thing. It's like it's like they lease the name. That's why you see like all the rides, even though it's like Space Mountain, it's brought to you by Mazda. Like every like ride had that, if you remember.
Got it.
Like
Yeah.
brought to you by. So it's like
Yeah,
this.
I always wondered about that. Was weird.
Yeah, it's a conglomerate.
Makes
And
sense.
then of course the Disney Sea was just to capitalize on there not being any I was gonna say Sequest.
That's Sequest.
Roy Schneider ruined that show.
Are you missing some of those VHSs already?
Oh yeah. So if anybody didn't notice, I had to clean out some VHSs and put my lunch boxes. That's my new collection thing is lunch boxes. I mean, it's I don't know, the action figures, I guess I got what I needed. Nothing really is catching my eye the last like couple of years. Nothing really like came out, you know?
You know what? The '80s had the best lunch boxes,
They're so cool. I love them.
hands down, hands
I
down.
love them. I only pick up the ones with the matching thermos.
Yes,
So
I remember. I remember one year. I don't remember where it was. Yeah, and I say that because as a military brat, bounced around every 2 years, school to school to school. So I don't remember what school it was, but I do remember it was a Spider-Man lunchbox with the
yeah.
matching thermos, and my mom had tried to put SpaghettiOs in the thermos for me.
Ooh.
Well, she didn't tighten the lid right.
Ooh.
And so my whole lunch was ruined, man. I had that and like a half sandwich or something, some snacks or whatever, but all the SpaghettiOs were all over
Oh.
everything. And by the time I got to it, the SpaghettiOs were cold, so I couldn't eat them.
Oh.
And I remember I was like on the verge of crying the whole time. But I was a new kid, so I was like, I can't let him see me cry.
Can't,
Can't let him see me cry.
can't be weak. Can't be weak.
Yeah, I remember that shit. Some of those things that stick out at you, man. Crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got the Spider-Man up in the corner, Spider Punk.
Oh,
I don't. It's like a variant. I don't know. See. I haven't spent over $15. I see these things for like 8, 10, 15.
they look. Those are what, maybe '90s versions.
You know what? I bet they're all reprints. I bet they're all modern. I bet there's no nostalgia at all. But you know what I like? I like the artwork.
Yeah,
I like the metal. You know, like it's the old metal feel.
yeah.
Um, and I had the Wolverine one I used once. I took
Did
it
you
out for
really?
a I took it out for a spin. I was very, it was I wasn't going anywhere, right? So like I kind of I took it to a jujitsu.
Oh,
Like nobody could really like see it, but I took it for a spin. But here's the thing, right? Is it nostalgic? Would it be like nerdy, cool? Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't hold enough, man. I eat. Okay. I'm 47, man. Like, like I need a drink. Like I have to drink. I can't just be like, okay, let's play another 5 games of basketball for 8 hours. Like I
right.
need more than 4 drops.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. Um, yeah, because they don't. They're cool looking, but they don't bring back any nostalgia for me. They're not like anything I remember. Like the
Yeah,
old Superman, Spider-Man, the Hulk.
mine were plastic.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, mine were plastic. In the 80s, they were plastic.
I'm old then, I guess, because mine were metal.
Yeah, ours were always plastic. And then my thermos had like a built-in my thermos the thermoses always had a built-in straw.
Oh yeah, nope, not me.
But
Not mine.
these ones are the legit like with the
Yeah,
little bowl in the center.
that's what I had. Yeah, and so
Yeah,
I even had a Scooby Doo lunchbox. That was my favorite, man.
nice.
I love Scooby Doo.
I remember having Mask.
Damn, we're not that.
Not
I didn't.
Jim Carrey, but like the old Mask, like the show, like it was a cartoon
Oh, I don't remember that.
before the movie. It was out the cartoon I think was before. I'm pretty sure the cartoon was before the movie. I'll have to check that.
Hmm,
I need to check that.
yeah, that OCD ain't gonna let you not do it, is it?
No.
So while you're checking that, let me go ahead and tell on myself again.
Yeah.
Lou talked me into getting this stupid ass Xbox Game Pass. So it's like the Xbox in my house is very hard to get to because of the children's. By the way, I have two of them. They're free to a good home if anybody wants them. But anyway, so I started playing on the computer online, and first I gotta say, number one, I am absolutely dog shit when it comes to playing these games. I am horrible, man. I'm like the typical old person. How do you program this VCR? It's just awful. But anyway, so we started playing this game. Was it Insurgency? Is that what it is?
Yes.
And
Sandstorm, Insurgency Sandstorm.
And as much as I don't want to admit it, it's actually pretty freaking cool.
It is fun.
So I was on earlier today, just fucking around because I didn't have anything better to do, and so like the whole time Lou and I have been playing, I've gotten I think the most 3 kills, man. That's how bad I suck, right?
Yeah, you get hit from you get. Here's the thing about insurgency. Sometimes you get shot, you have no idea. You're just like, think.
Right. Where the hell did that come from?
Okay, I'll just watch you play now for 5 minutes.
Right. So anyway, I was on there today, man, and man, I didn't realize I was going pretty good there for a while, and finally I got killed, and I was like, wow, what, man, I made it pretty far, and I looked up, and I had 41 freaking kills, man.
Jesus,
So it's
he's a gamer. He's a gamer. Look at this nerd.
Basically, 40 times the amount that I normally get in one round. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I had to nerd out a little bit on that.
It is funny though, like how they try to get the immersion going, like you hear in the background,
Right?
Or they say, "Where is the commander?"
Yeah, where's the commander?
like the accents are. Oh my god!
I feel like every time I hear that, I expect Rodney Dangerfield to pop out and say, "Where's the commander? Who's the commander?"
Speaking of Rodney Dangerfield, I was just telling someone else again. You Meet Wally. Nobody knows Meet Wally Sparks. Andy, we're
Crazy.
the only two now.
That's wild. Well, I mean, it's definitely an era piece, right?
Yeah, you would have had to have you would have had to have come across it because it doesn't get advertised. I mean, you don't see it anywhere.
Well, not only that, but meaning when he made that movie, that was in the era of the daytime talk show and
Oh yes,
merging into the
excellent point.
nighttime.
Excellent point. Because a lot of people, no one's gonna no. I'll tell you right now, no one will know Ricky Lake.
Right.
No one will know. No one will know Sally Jesse Raphael.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like those two when they're in there, and then Roseanne had a show. Wally Sparks, he's a lousy lay.
Right. I mean,
But she had a show. She did after Roseanne. Then she had the talk show. That's right. That's right. That was an era. 9 Broadcast Plaza.
Jenny Jones. That's when. Jerry Springer.
Yes. Steve Wilkos came off Springer.
Yep. Morton Downey Jr.
Awesome.
So he was like late 80s, early 90s. So he was kind of ahead of his time a little bit.
I remember 9 Broadcast Plaza coming out of New York in the daytime, and that show was just a zoo.
I've never even heard of that. 9 Broadcast Plaza?
9 BP. I would catch it. My mom would see me watch, like they'd be in the summer times, get it off, because it would be because we had one. I lived up in Northeast Pennsylvania. I grew up in, so we get channels from New York in the tri-state area.
Arsenio, yep. What's up,
Billy? And we would get 9 Broadcast Plaza in the daytime. I remember one time I was young. 9 Broadcast Plaza. There were true Jews who were black and were on the stage. There were Nazis, so they're gonna fight, right? Chairs are gonna fly, right? And so this is now I'm young, right? So I don't know if any of this is scripted, right? I don't follow the daytime talk shows. I don't know if they're scripted or not, or like if it's WWE type stuff, or if sometimes it is or it isn't. I don't know. And I especially didn't know at like 9 years old. So this lady stands up and says, "I'm Puerto Rican. Why do you hate us?" And I just remember this dude, this black dude, who was a true Jew, or it was like what the line said. He had a whip, and he just stood up and he said, "Because y'all ain't black, y'all ain't white, you don't know what you are, what you want to be." And then the fight started.
Oh, wow.
I never forgot. And I thought, this is crazy. Like this, Andy, that doesn't exist anymore.
No, I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, well, not even that, but I mean, Morton Downey Jr. would pop off like that.
Oh yeah.
Jerry Springer absolutely popped off like that.
Even Geraldo.
Geraldo got busted in the face with a chair.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, things were popping off on daytime TV, everywhere except Donahue.
Right.
Everywhere except Donahue. But
So,
yeah, daytime TV was popping off great, and it was crazy stuff. Like they'd always have the racists on with the with like the Black Panthers, with like the Liberation Front, like and always.
I'm sorry I ruined your Black Panther party.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
um,
They say
Springer was
Stokely Carmichael was an FBI plant since that report came out, right?
who
What a segue there, huh?
say
Stokely
that
Carmichael, they think, was a plant into, right? So there were the three main Black Panthers, right? Louis, there was Stokely Carmichael, Louis. Oh man, see, that's gonna drive me crazy. But they
I don't
say
know.
Stokely Carmichael was an FBI plant that was reporting on him the whole time.
No shit.
Huey Newton, Stokely Carmichael, and the girl, Tupac's mom.
Huey Newton sounds like a snack bar.
Yeah,
Try
yeah, but
some of
those
these Huey
were.
Newtons.
But yeah, they were the main starters of the Black Panther Party, and they think Stokely Carmichael. So the report came out earlier, the IG report saying that the FBI had 23 sources at the rally, but no paid agents.
Hmm.
But the IG found no evidence of them being ordered to violate any laws, enter the Capitol, or do anything. There were 6 or 8 sources that were ordered to go to the Capitol and report on a couple of people. But they were not
Interesting.
authorized to violate or break the law in any way. Or something like this, something weird like that.
Hmm.
And then no sources were prosecuted due to ongoing contributions.
Of course.
So like that's why you see like Ray Epps and all those guys. Like,
Wow. That's wild,
so
man.
yeah, so they're saying, so you got 2 takes, right? You got you got the left saying, see, there's no paid FBI agents encouraging the riot. And then you have other people saying there were 23 assets, or sources at the thing, But I mean, I don't know who they were, so I don't know if they're on, nobody knows their names, right? So you don't know if they were the ones encouraging.
Right.
Right. I do know this though. The policeman that shot, I'll tell you what, more and more is coming out about these cops and their testimony against the J6ers, man.
Oh yeah.
Especially that one that ran for Congress, who's been the linchpin, the one that said he was at the top of the stairs and saw the other officer but he wasn't even there when he said that. Oh, he wasn't even. Mike Baker exposed that a long time ago, and that's why the FBI went after Mike Baker. They charged Mike Baker and didn't talk to him for 2 years. Then he exposed the fact that that one cop wasn't even in the build. He was still in the underground. He's on camera at the same timestamp underground that he testified he was above witnessing the other cop getting shoved. And that testimony has been used against all the J6ers, and Baker exposed that. But
So
now there's more coming out.
I'm gonna admit I don't know anything about it. I haven't followed it. I haven't.
Oh man, Mike Baker. I didn't follow much of it either until Mike Baker started getting. So as soon as Mike Baker exposed that, he got a call the next week saying, "We're coming. Get ready. Call your lawyer." 2 years. They
Interesting.
never said anything. So they brought him in. He pled guilty to a BS charge because they were just gonna, destroy him, right? Like they did everyone else. And so basically, he pled guilty, hoping, because Trump had already won,
Mhm.
for the pardon.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, because he's a he's the only journalist, by the way. There are 23 other journalists that he points out as well who were inside the Capitol. He's the only one that's been arrested.
Mike
No other
Baker?
journalist has been arrested.
Mike Baker,
Yeah.
the CIA guy.
No, this is a different
Okay.
this is a
Okay.
different guy.
See, I told you I'm completely ignorant on it.
Yeah. So this guy, he just went in and he just, like, he's a reporter who just he has all the video footage. He sued for all of it, got it all. And him and his team have been going through it, and he's just been like, that was a lie. 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 That was a, and he's been putting it out, and he's been exposing these people, right? And he's been exposing the judges in the cases, saying you can't use First Amendment as a defense.
I I want to have my faith in this system restored. I want these these guys, if they didn't actually physically assault anyone, then I want all of them to be completely exonerated. Not pardoned, exonerated. And
I think they should be. I mean, but again, like where do you go? Like so Duke Lacrosse, right? Duke Lacrosse is another thing,
yes.
right? So this brought up a great point. Like I said, I listen to all the shows, right? So I'm listening to Ben Shapiro, who connected the dots on a lot of things that was very interesting that I hadn't noticed before. Was hands up, don't shoot never happened, right? That never happened. Eric Holder's Justice Department said that never happened.
Hmm.
The Michael Brown thing, right?
Mhm.
So that never happened. Even Eric Holder's Justice Department said that never happened. And
Interesting.
look at the movement that spawned. The Duke Lacrosse. She just admitted she made the whole thing. It never happened.
Yep,
Look
I
at the
just
whole
saw
Me
that
Too.
headline. Yep.
Look at the whole Me Too, right? Off of that. And that guy that tried to run the campaign who ended up going to jail himself for hiding evidence from the jury that the boys, were innocent. He ruined those kids, But yeah, like these all of these movements, George Floyd, like all these movements are predicated on lies.
Well,
On lies, getting
it's right
people
out
fired
of
because they had to go find smoke where there was none. They had to create smoke where there was none.
the communist playbook.
We were getting along fine until they started to create false incidents and false tensions that created false movements. But if you go back on the history of all these things, they're all not true. None of it is true. Like that started them. None of it's true.
I'd love to sit here and pretend like I'm really shocked and surprised, but shit we've been saying since the incidents happened.
So let's go. So great point, Andy. So on Twitter, you saw we were engaged on Twitter on the McCullough protocol on ivermectin,
Mhm.
right? So for people who don't know, for COVID, right? Peter McCullough, cardiologist, was sounding the alarm, saying, "What the hell are you doing? Sending people home, telling them just stay home until you can't breathe anymore, and then come back." He was like, "Wait, so what? Stay home until the virus replicates until you can't deal with it anymore? So every trip to the hospital is a super spreader event?" He's like, "Who the hell? What medical school did you go to?" Right? Most published, most decorated cardiologist, right? Sitting here saying we're not treating these people. That's insane. You're venting them. I mean, that's insane. What are you doing? Right? So he starts using ivermectin. He creates this treatment protocol. He starts saving people's lives.
Mm.
But see, here's the problem, right? If you have a treatment that works, what can't you get?
You can't get that emergency
Can't get
vaccine pushed
emergency
through.
use authorization. If there's a treatment out there that's effective, there's no reason to bypass the years and years of testing to get mRNA vaccines certified and out to the people. But they knew it had these issues, so they had to bypass the testing so these issues wouldn't be exposed. So they had to slam ivermectin. Go on the CDC website, see what they say about the McCullough protocol. So I asked this quack on Twitter who's putting out all these things about vaccines and all these things, does the McCullough protocol work? He brags on Twitter that he's the first doctor to use the word COVID and all this. Does the McCullough protocol work? He ignores it. Does the McCullough but he posts all these things. So I keep asking, does the McCullough protocol work? Does the McCullough protocol work? Some nurse some okay, first of all, my old lady will tell you I'm a nurse hater. All right.
I'm a nurse hater.
I'm a nurse hater. Okay, I am. I'll be honest. I am. Right. My wife will tell you. Okay, I'm working on it. I need to get better. I do. I understand.
No, you don't.
I know heroes work here.
Look,
Okay.
I am a nurse, and I hate nurses.
That's my favorite part. Right? And hopefully this person picks up on my snark on the nurse comment and says something, not knowing you're a nurse. Anyway, long story longer. Right? They say no, it doesn't. Well, how can you say no, it doesn't when the CDC just put it up on its website, right? The same CDC that told you ivermectin doesn't work, is horse glue, doesn't do it. They have the McCullough protocol on their website now as an acceptable early treatment, just so you know, and that includes ivermectin. So that's why I asked these people, does the McCullough protocol work? And if it works, if I look back on your timeline, would I see you talking about ivermectin? Would I see you saying negative things about ivermectin? And I probably would, because all of these people are part of the system, right? And it's very, very hard for you to admit, yeah, yeah, the government lied to you, man. Yeah, totally. And it cost lives because they thought they'd save more.
Right.
They think they know better. And that's hard to swallow, is that, hey, man, I'm just cattle, right? But fortunately, in my life, I had a high school World War II veteran who told me, if you're enlisted, you signed on as an acceptable loss. He said, officers aren't. We put money into them. He said, but enlisted? Oh yeah, E1 to E9 is an acceptable loss. Yeah, that was World War II battle planning. He said, how do you think Chesty Puller held those hills?
Although I would say that most of my seniors, when I was in, would view me as an acceptable loss as an officer.
Right, right. But you hear what I'm getting at, though, you know?
Billy said, "Man, these segues get us from lunchbox to J6."
Right? And now what were we just on another, we were down another rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's man, I tell you what, it's funny because exactly what you said, the fact that we were in for as long as we were in, we accepted the fact that we're cattle a long time ago. So it's no big surprise to us. But yeah, some of these folks that live in this idealistic version of reality in their own little version, yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, I try to tell people, and I try to tell junior sailors, right? And it's so antithetical to what they get taught. They just look like they don't understand, right? Or some get. I hope some got it. But what I tried to say was, the government is so big, it's incapable of caring about you.
Right.
It's incapable. There's too many things going on. It's too many. That's why, like, so when I think of conspiracies, right? When I think of the grand conspiracy, um, is there a cabal? Right? It's the Jews. That always kills me when people say that.
Wait,
That always kills
Cabal.
me.
She just lost the election.
Who?
Cabal. That
Oh yeah, yeah,
caller.
Kabbalah, yeah. I just
Caballer.
think she's funny, man. She's a trip. She's done. She won't be around. She's gone. Um, she can make videos and stuff, but
She'll
even
be the next governor of
the donors are
California.
like, you had $1 billion and you were flying first class when you were behind the 8 ball. I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
don't think so. So they're really upset about that, by the
Oh
way.
yeah. Well, she'll be
Um,
the next governor of California in her
believe me,
mind.
it's possible. I mean, it is possible, but I don't think you're gonna see much on the national stage. But I was gonna say, in the grand conspiracy of the cabals and everything, right? When I think of that, I think of, like, okay, so first of all, I think it's crazy when people when people blame the Jews. I do think that's crazy. I think it's I don't think any one group in particular, right? I don't think you can narrow it down that way, right?
Yeah.
I think you'd have to narrow it down to opportunists, right? Now, if some opportunists, two things can be true at once, right?
Mhm.
But I think the real tie that binds people who think they're in the driver's seat is opportunism, right? People who recognize opportunity and how to pull levers,
For sure.
right? I think it's just too big to try to control, right? I mean, there's too
Yeah.
many. I mean, like my thought is, right, like if you feel like there's um well, for instance, people who say, well, let's say that, right? The people who say, the Jews control it, right? Okay, head on over to Russell Buffalino and tell him it was the Jews that told him go out west in the. See how that goes over, right? Head over
Hey,
to New
Billy.
York, John Gotti, and tell him he's a shill for Goldberg over there. See what
Right.
happens, right? You
Yeah,
know,
that'll go over real well.
that's what I'm saying, right? So like but that's not to say, no, but what I am saying is, like, I think people pull levers and people have opportunists, and some people just latch on to other characteristics, right? But I think the true characteristic of people is opportunism. And but I don't think, and what I'm getting at is, I don't think, though, um we are at a point where somebody can pull the strings together like that. There's just too many moving parts. The world is too big. And what I see in my life is, there are too many people who think they're helping, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you can't coordinate all that. You know what
It's
I'm
true.
saying? It's too hard. And so I think a lot of things, and that's why I think a lot of things get screwed up, right? Because they don't have the control they think they do, right? Or they don't have the control they're trying to project us to believe they do, right? Which is why you still get hiccups and glitches in the matrix, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Once upon a time when the world population wasn't as dense as it is, sure, maybe so. But nowadays, you're right. It's too big. What's up there, Mark?
Yeah, what's up?
Speaking of
Yeah, I
slackers,
think it's just too much, man. It's too much to control. I mean, you got to figure, and look, it would be far easier, right? If you brought like technology and stuff to the world. But if you look at it, right, everybody's kind of just staying where they are, right? Everybody's really kind of stagnant.
mhm.
Like nothing's really moving, you
Oh,
know?
that's not true. There's a bunch of movement to invade this country illegally.
I mean, I think, yeah, I mean there's certainly like cross-pollination and things, but if you notice, right, like
Yeah,
nobody's no there hasn't been a major advance in a while.
I'm just being a facetious asshole.
No,
But
I
you're
hear
right.
you, but there hasn't been a major advance in a while. There hasn't been a country to emerge from its status, right? We don't have any countries emerging from, fourth to third, third to,
Mm-mm.
first. I mean, we don't have any of that. None of that is happening. We've been, and so, and now you want to talk about conspiracies, right? Dial it back to Michael Schellenberger's book, Apocalypse Never, the climate change scam, right? Where all it does is suck up resources and money so nobody moves, everybody stays the same, and the power structure is where it needs to be, right? Nobody's moving. He said, just look at the trillions we spend in climate change over the last couple of decades and then realize you can't find one example of a country doing better because of it. You
Nope.
can't. Name one country doing better because of our climate policies and spending that's improved its status in the world. None.
Yeah,
Because
can't
it's
do it.
all about keeping everybody static.
Damn them people.
Eh, right? So then what do you do? So that's an interesting question, right? I get like I had this conversation with a good friend of mine, right? So now now you know you mean nothing. You're easily thrown away. Right. So what do you do? What do you do?
Tell you what I do. I live my life, man.
Yeah, and you just be aware of that.
Yep. Live my
you
life.
know? You just be aware that that's probably not true.
Right.
That's probably not helpful. that but I think being aware is a good thing.
For sure.
I don't think you should let it overwhelm you. Um, we're all living in the same situation. All of
Yeah.
us, we're all living in the same situation. And here's one thing that happens throughout history too, and they know this, and they know this, right? And I hate to say this on the heels of the CEO being shot because that is a horrific crime and should never be supported. But what I'm saying is like the Bill Gateses of the world, of the ancient world, it's their children that get drug out of the castle.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They know that. That's what it's time and time again through history. What happens? The castle gets sacked. These people know that. That's why they're trying to build yachts and be in the oceans, sustainably for whatever, right? Because you'll never be able to catch them out there, right?
These $1 billion bunkers that are being built.
That's because they know. They
Yep.
know they're the first to get drug out. They
So
know that.
Mark Moore said in the chat, that's the purpose of it, to keep everyone in check and the
Yeah.
few in power in power.
You're 100% right, my friend.
Yep.
But that's my point. Is like, so if you know your cannon fodder, right? Then what do you do? Then you live, man. You live like cannon fodder. You plan for the future. You save. You make sure you make smart decisions in the system that you're in.
Mhm.
You know, but don't take anything for granted. Enjoy the
Nope.
time you have. Enjoy, visit family. Go see friends. Right. I'll
Do
tell you one thing I've been
things.
doing in my life to share a positive note is I got pissed off. I got real sick and tired of thinking about somebody and saying I'm gonna, like, I'll give you an example, right? Like I was thinking about, and hopefully he's not listening. I was thinking I was gonna text Mark Barris. I haven't said hello to him in a while,
Mhm.
right? But then later tonight I'm gonna get a text from Mark Barris and it's gonna say, "What's up, bro?" And I'm gonna write back, "Oh man, I was just thinking." How lame does that sound? I got sick of that, man. So you know what? As soon as I think of somebody now, I text them immediately.
There you go.
Yeah, and I feel good. I feel better. But
Yeah.
that's what I think you should do. I think you be aware, You be aware you're cannon fodder and you go live like cannon fodder, man. You take advantage of as much opportunities as you can while still planning for tomorrow. Okay. I'm not saying, don't save money and just go piss shit around. No, you
Right.
always have to plan for tomorrow.
That's
Right.
right.
But don't put it off if you can do it today.
And
Yeah.
lastly, when the shit finally does hit the fan, take as many of them motherfuckers with you as you can.
It's so funny, right? I tell people all the time, man, I'll climb a tower long before I climb a tree. I'll be climbing a tower long before I climb a tree. It is better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
That's right. Depending.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Well, Daniel Penny did all right. Now, I saw a tweet the other day from one of the talk shows I follow. He's like, now get the heaven out of there.
That's right. If he's
Um,
smart, he will. I just saw something. He's going to be at the Army Navy game with Trump and JD Vance.
oh, I'm sure, man. And you know what? I bet the guy doesn't want any of that limelight.
Nope. I guarantee he
Um,
doesn't.
he's kind of looks a little nervous when he gave that interview. But I'll tell you what, man. I'm happy for him. I'm glad for him. I'm sad that the civil suit's going on by
Jesus Christ.
freaking what's his name's
The
dad, who
families, yeah.
finally figured out how to find his son.
Oh yeah, huh? That's great.
Couldn't find him the other 42 arrests.
Right.
Wasn't there when his mom got shot by her boyfriend that he talks about all the time.
Yeah. I'm very happy for him, but I'm even more happy for the justice system because it's just a little push back into the direction of maybe I'm regaining some faith in the system, you know?
I don't know. That's New York.
It is
They're
New
still
York.
going after him civilly. I mean, Alvin
I
Bragg brought the
understand that.
charges to begin with. I mean, that guy
Of
never should have
course
brought
he
the
did.
charges to begin with.
Of course. Of course.
I mean, New
But
York is lost, man. That's why I posted that map, right? That guy was like, well, maybe we just Canada.
oh, that was a good one, yeah.
We'll go here and you can go.
That's right.
You could have, you could be our hat with the little tails,
That's right.
But I'll tell you what, man. One of the things that's been cracking me up is all these people crying about him calling Canada the 51st state and Trudeau governor
I think it's great.
to steal a line because it's just so perfect. At some point I stop hearing. I can't believe America. Fuck yeah, gonna win the motherfucking day now.
That's right.
Like, make me love him more.
That's right. That's exactly. I fell into the okay. I'll be honest. I was not a big fan of the tweets and stuff all the time
Sure,
back
me neither.
back in the day. So I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention when he ran his mouth. Right.
Right,
I paid attention to what he was doing in office,
right.
but I ignored most of the rest of it. But I tell you, this time around, uh, I think I think that assassination attempt's the best thing that ever happened to him because it has clearly humbled him quite a bit.
I think so. I think you're
Uh,
right.
and now we're seeing less of the boisterous Trump and more of the true Donald Trump that's been there the whole time. But
Yeah.
because of the distracting texts and shit he says, people couldn't really see that.
Yeah, and he's had 4 years to ponder sort of the problems, right?
Right.
And I think what you're seeing, he did. Glenn Beck did an interview with him, and Beck was saying, he said, I didn't know how many appointments I had to make on day one. He said, Glenn, it's thousands. He said, I have 3,000 appointments to make. And then after that, they in turn have another 4 to 5,000 themselves. He's like,
Wow.
so it's about 10,000 people that, are like third, like, I don't know, some weird number, right? Some high number that have to be appointed. He said, I did not know that. So I went with what people told me. This guy's good here. This guy's good there. This guy's good here. He said they were good for the people who recommended them, not for me,
Hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they stopped his assignment. He said you had General Kelly, who even giving interviews, said he felt it was his job to be the firewall between the people and the press. What? Like
Yeah.
these were all people that were recommended to him because he didn't know he had to have all these positions filled. He said, but now I know.
Oh yeah. I
And you could tell by the vetting. We've shared many times on the wrap about the vetting.
I really hope, and I'm sure that he will, but I really hope that he sticks with what he campaigned on.
I think so. I think they're going to go right at it, man. And you see the Biden administration freaking out and doing everything it can to stop him. They're selling border wall pieces now. Did you see that?
Yeah, that makes absolutely
They're just
0
trying to get rid of it so he can't
sense.
start building because he was going to start building immediately. So they're just trying to get rid of it so that he can't start building. It's just, listen, this is what Democrats do. They're petty tyrants. They're petty tyrants. Democrats are, I'll say it again, petty tyrants. Remember when Bush won? The Clinton administration stole all the China and ripped all the W's out of the keyboards, right? They caused about 40 grand worth of damage in the White House. Okay. These people are petty tyrants, is what
Uh,
they are.
you know what? Maybe yes, but I think just plain bitches fits better. They're fucking bunch of little bitches.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. That's a shorthand
Well, it's more. I
for how
want
I
it to be
say.
as derogatory as possible.
Right?
I
Right?
really and truly do.
Yeah, and then did you see if you watch if you listen to the War Room, right? Again, I know you guys don't have
I,
all the time
I
in the
don't have
world.
to because you do for me.
I know, right? I know everybody doesn't have all the time in the world, right? So I try to, listen. I didn't put it in the wrap because it's almost every day. But maybe I'll put it in next time. But they have a correspondent down at all the CBP entry points, like where the app tells them to come in, and he's like, "Oh, yep, here they are flooding in again. Yep, they're trying to max it out again. Here they are again." He's like, "Here they are with the." I mean, he's just he's chronicling
Yeah.
all the people at all the ports of entry that they are trying to flood across through the CBP app because it will give everyone in here 2 years.
Yep.
Right. So if 2 years we could have elections, try to flip the house or something so that they can't get these bills passed. So that's all they're trying to do is hamstring everything. So they're flooding the zone with immigrants. They're trying to. Did you see? They were going to pass the bipartisan law to increase the judgeships to keep the crimes moving. But now that Trump won, they don't want to do it anymore. Biden's going to veto it, so there's going to be no more judges. I mean, they're just on the door. They see, and so this was interesting, right? Steve Dace has a soundbite to promote his show, and it's this is how the playbook works. They change the rules, then they change the playbook so you can't change the rules. He's like, that's how it works. They're going to change their constitution with an amendment, then they're going to make another amendment to make sure you can't change it back. He's like, that's how they do it. It's what they do. He's like, so that's how the game's played.
Republicans need to start fighting dirty.
Well, and that's why I thought, I thought Ben Shapiro a couple weeks ago, I think I might have put it on the wrap, had the best offer going, right? Put a constitutional amendment for the filibuster on the table for 18 months.
Yeah.
Enshrine it so that no one can get rid of it. We will always have a filibuster to stand up to tyranny, right? You don't ever have to worry about anyone killing it ever again. Put it on the table for 18 months. If Democrats don't take it, it's obvious they plan to kill the filibuster as soon as they're in power. Get it off the table, spend your last 6 months, kill the filibuster, and slam everything through. Because they've made their intentions clear. So at that point, you are completely justified to take the brakes off. Kill the filibuster yourselves, slam everything through, and then change the constitution. So they can't do it.
Uh-oh.
Hope you
We
have
haven't heard this music in a while. But you know what that means?
I do.
It's our Veterans Helping Veterans segment. You probably thought I forgot, didn't you? But I have one tonight. And the name of this organization is Everyone for Veterans. Now, what they do is I picked this one on purpose. It's a little bit more unique and specialized. So their slogan or their mission is Everyone for Veterans empowers veterans to lead healthy and fulfilled lives by providing them with resources, support, and comprehensive dental care. Now, if you have to pay for dental insurance, you know how important that is because
Oof.
that crap's expensive, man. And there's a lot of us, a lot of folks out there, especially veterans, that just they can't afford it. So, check this organization out. What a worthy cause, man. It's everyoneforveterans.org, all spelled out. Um, Maybe show them some love if you can. Show them some support, or at least get the word out for them, for the veterans in your lives. That's right. Lou, back to you.
Well, that's all we have for today.
Well, we got a couple comments in here. Let's Mark says it makes perfect sense. They want to tie his hands and delay everything they can to make it as difficult as humanly possible. Getting back to Trump coming in.
It's true.
And he says, "Well, hell, I may need the info for that for my uncle." There you have it. So everyone from veterans.org, check them out. See what they can do for your veteran in your life.
Yeah. And then check out some of the other shows. We have charities all throughout. You may
Absolutely.
hear a couple for pinups for vets and a couple other charities we support, but a lot of animal charities too as well. And then of course, join in, join the conversation. Join us every Friday night, 9 p.m. 9 to 10 Eastern time. What? I don't know. What the hell kind of time is it in wherever you are?
Oh, real people time? Yeah, it's 8 to 9.
8 to 9. There you
That's
go.
right.
8 to 9. But yeah, because check us out, comment, click like down below. It always helps. Give it a
Yes.
5-star review if you like it. Even if you don't, give it a 5-star. Right? I'm not above lying, cheating, or
That's
stealing.
right. I don't know if it's true or not, but they say the algorithm really helps if you click like, or if you make a comment or subscribe. So hey, we're at 539 subscribers. I know that's huge, isn't it? Woo, whatever. We're trying to get to 1,000. So help us out, please. Share the show. Uh, get the word out. If you like it, the 3 listeners that come here. Uh, tell 3 of your friends, and maybe they'll tell 3 of their friends, and so on and so on. And remember that old commercial? Never
That's
mind.
right.
Never mind. Anyway, yeah, help us out. Help a couple brothers out. But in the meantime, we got some Hodgies to go kill. So we'll catch y'all on the flip side. Night,
That's
everybody.
right.
You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table with Andy and Lou, an Admiral Media production podcast. All information at the time of recording is mostly accurate. Comment below.